What's the haps? Big Kev for Big Kev's World coming at you with one of the largest arms in YouTube coming at you here with another video. It's a video that I don't normally do. I usually leave this to a guy like Stephen Rose. I've known Stephen Rose for quite a while, actually. He's a good buddy of mine. He's a good buddy of mine. He usually does videos like this. It's kind of more of Steven's forte. But he did a video recently talking about is being kind, nice to people a bad or good thing and attractive traits. Now it's a 2-hour video, a 2-hour 45-minute video. I'm not gonna go and do everything that Steven said. I'm just gonna talk about certain points. I'm gonna play his video, then I'm gonna stop, respond to it. So without further ado, well, let's see what we got here. I gotta find a Chrome tab here now. Right here, Steven's video. Let's see what it says here.
Hey, what's up? I'm live again, man. And now it's time, I guess, for another video. Hey, Rick, what's going on, man? I appreciate the love on the ideas. I was debating on doing a live stream or not tonight. I said, fuck it, I'm just gonna get on and talk the shit and shoot the shit with people and just get people's opinions or whatnot. Nah. Yeah, I just got off of work. Hey, Veronica, what's going on? Yeah, I just got off of work. Got home about an hour ago from Wally World. And I'm off tomorrow, so I'm going to be I said, fuck it, I'm just going to go ahead and shoot the shit. Whoever comes in is welcome to come in and join the chat room. Nah. And Marvin's like, is this going to be a good stream night? Oh, hopefully. Like I said, if I get, people to come in the chat room and stay in here and engage like I did yesterday. Yesterday was a really good stream, bro. Yesterday was really good. And I had a good time, man. So like I said, hey, so when are you going to start doing collabs with Maria again? Like I said, I haven't talked to her in about a week, give or take, but we're going to have something, we're going to have something hopefully this week. I don't know if she's available tomorrow, but me and her definitely got to start collabing together. I miss her. She's cool people and I enjoy her company. All right. Waiting for anybody to come in the chat room. It's good, Rick. Yeah, just waiting for people to come in, bro. Are you still at work right now or are you off? Did you already get off? Okay. So what are you heading home or are you still cleaning up? Because I know y'all don't get out of Chili's till like goddamn 2:00. Oh, Kosova. Hey, how you doing? I like your Kosova. What the hell is that on your avatar? That looks like some meat or something. Is that a meat or something? What's that in between the bone? I don't know what the hell that is, but it looks kind of creepy. You might want to tell me what that is. Growing up, I've always been pretty nice to people. I'm generally a nice person. That's just generally how I am, And, people have different types of personalities and characteristics about that make them unique, right? Some people can get away with being an asshole and, being productive. Some people can get away with being nice, and you got some people that play both sides of the fence and that can mellow themselves out. And I read these forums, these blogs, and I watch a lot of like YouTube content when I'm not at work or whatever. And they talk about how the obvious nice guys finish last crap when it comes to dating, but they talk about how you shouldn't be too openly too nice to people or be kind to people or whatever the case may be. It says here, it's not cool to treat others bad. It's about being civilized. I like that. Kosova, is that your real name, by the way? That's a unique name. Is there like a meaning behind that? Is that like another language or something? I'm trying to. Maybe that's like exotic or something, foreign or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just shooting the shit. I'm waiting for people to come in here, Rick. You know the thing. Well, I was gonna respond to make a part 2 to yesterday's video. I just said fuck it. I'm just gonna shoot the shit. And at the end of the video, well, I may keep this up for an hour. Just depends on who comes in here. But I may I'm gonna talk about attractive traits in people that I find is attractive, but I can't count looks. Like, you can't say looks. All right. You have to say, what are some attractive traits in people that attract you to them? And it could.
All right. So attractive traits. So we can't say your looks. Actually, I actually agree with this one. Because people are so superficial with their mind and superficial with their brain. We live in a superficial world now. No 2020, 2022. Everybody's superficial now. It's almost like you go on social media like Instagram, go on Twitter, YouTube, Reddit, any other website, and these people are so like TikTok. I'm on TikTok. These people are so freaking superficial. It is insane. It's an insane world where we live in, where these superficial people feel like that they have to show their things. And there's women of TikTok. Now, most of you who have a TikTok, you know what I'm talking about here. There's these girls on TikTok that do these live videos showing half their cleavage, and they're showing their little booty shorts and everything like that. And then they get appalled when a man comes into a room and makes a comment about them. I'm like, I'm sorry, you're looking for attention. Now, here's the deal with that, ladies. Listen, you can dress sexy. Like my wife, Mel, she dresses sexy, but she does it class. Class. What I mean by class is when a woman who dresses sexy but classy, they could show some skin, but they're not looking for that attention. The only attention that they're looking for is the man that they're with. That's it. But then you have these other ladies on here who are looking for any and every attention that they can get from a man. And it's not just on social media. It's in the workforce. It's in the workforce too. Because they try to sucker you in. Because of this whole Me Too movement, they sucker you in thinking, hey, well, hi. Ooh. And then they come in there and they give you this little shit to sucker you in so they can get you on whatever they can get you on. Now, what's attractive traits that someone looks for that's not looks? For me, before me and Mel got together, one thing I looked for was honesty. Honesty and loyalty. Two different traits that you, as a woman, has to have if you're going to be in a relationship with me. Period. Two things. Another thing that I look for in an attractive trait is how you handle yourself. Not just physically, but how do you handle yourself? How you handle yourself in the outside world. How you handle yourself mentally. How you handle yourself. How you carry yourself. If you don't want to say looks, you can say, hey, how do you carry yourself? That's what I look for in a trait too. Another thing with a trait is they have to have the soul. They have to have heart. You got to be funny. You got to take sense of humor is a big thing for me. That's why me and Mel click a lot, because she's sarcastic. I have a random dry sense of humor. I can be sarcastic too. And we have fun just poking at each other and making little jokes at each other. And it's laughter is a big key to a woman's heart. a lot of people think, oh, well, you have to be this tall, big guy. You have to be this way for a woman. Honestly, you don't. The one thing you got to be for a woman is you got to be true to yourself. If a woman can't accept you for being the true person that you are, fuck them. Out. Click left. Don't click right. Swipe right. Swipe left. Because you do not want to be with that person who cannot accept you for who you are. Now, if you're willing to accept them for who they are, then they have to accept you for who you are, flaws and all. It's like what Chris Rock said years ago. Love and relationships is like pizza. You can't just love the toppings. You can't just love the sauce. You can't just love the cheese. You got to love the crust of a motherfucker. You got to love everything there is to love about a person. Because if you don't, then you got no relationship. You got no chemistry. You got no fireworks. You got no this. Women love a man who can handle themselves. Women love a man with confidence, not cockiness, confidence. And some men get very confused with that. They think, oh, I got to be Mr. Cocky. I got to plunk out my chest like a peacock and walk around. Yeah, they have to do all that stuff. Honestly, most women, when you do that, most women are laughing at you. Behind the scenes, they're laughing at you because they think you're making a fool of yourself. A woman wants a soldier. A woman wants a man that's going to go to bat for them. A woman wants a man who they know when shit hits the fan, that guy has got their back, like they got yours. And as long as you do that, you can be in a happy, healthy relationship. Relationships in marriages, they're not easy. Me and Mel, we fight. There's some times where it happens. And that's normal. That's healthy. It's healthy to have disagreements. It's healthy to have arguments, so to speak. But, traits that I also find attractive too is how they're raised by their family. How they are, what they're looking for in life. That's kind of what I look for in a partner. And I found all of those in a partner. But I mean, not everybody's lucky, but I'm going to keep going here because I want to hear a little bit more what Steven's got to say.
It could be like, a dating scenario or like a friendship scenario. What are some like qualities you look for in people that attract you to them, that help you form relationships with people in general? I thought that was very fascinating, especially if, again, we all, because I know we live in a society where it's like all about superficial, about how you look. And I get it, beauty is subjective for the most part, but I also understand why people emphasize on looks, because of course you have to be like attractive in the look department to like your partner for the most part, unless they're just looking for companionship. I mean, that is possible, but I still think in the long run you have to be somewhat physically attracted to that person, if that kind of makes sense. But I'm wondering, other than looks, what is some attractive traits about people that draw you to them? You know what I'm saying? So I thought that would be pretty cool to talk about. I don't know if anybody else is coming in. I'm waiting for more to join. God damn it. Nah. I thought yesterday was pretty good. Again, I was talking to my aunt this morning, and she was telling me about like that she thought that dudes were getting the same DMs on Instagram that the girls were getting. I'm like, no, man, that's not the case. I said most dudes' DMs are dry as fuck. I'm actually going to make a video about that, talking about how like lopsided the dating comes when it comes to like dating apps and social media content versus men versus women, because there is like a large difference. And I thought maybe I could do a whole breakdown of that, discuss that. That'll probably be tomorrow's stream. Why not? But I'm off tonight, so why not discuss this relevant topic? Some people tell me that being too nice is a bad thing. Like that you shouldn't be too nice to people, or you shouldn't be too kind to people. And I'm not just saying that I'm opening up my bank account and just giving all my money away. No, absolutely not. But at the same time, people have like told me that you shouldn't be like openly nice. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So to answer that one, what Steven said about that is like being openly nice. I'm a nice guy. It's how a man is usually, it all depends on how a man is raised. If a man is raised with a good father, like I was, um, you learn the rights and wrongs. You learn how to. My dad always taught me that if you want to build a legacy, you have to treat others as you want to be treated, but do not take anyone's bullshit. Know when to be nice, but know when to stand your ground and be firm. You don't have to be an asshole, but you know when to be firm. So what Steven's talking about is like, see, Mel's a very given person. This is where me and her fight. She's a given person. She'll open up our checkbook and help somebody, if they really, really need it. Me, on the other hand, I'm one of those kind of people where I've been burnt before by doing that. Like by giving people money and then expecting them to pay back, and they never paid me. They never paid us back. And I, you know, I'm a little different with that. I'm more, if you want to say stingy, you can. Um, I'm one of those kind of people where I'm a nice guy until you push my buttons. I'm a nice guy until you do something that no longer makes me nice. A lot of my friends and a lot of my family will tell you I'm a lot like Bruce Banner. Right now it's Bruce Banner, but there's a guy that's green, that's mean. He's in there. And I cut very deep when I get mean. So with the money situation, I'm very more, stingy with that, because when people are asking, "Hey, can I borrow this from you?" My first question is, when someone asks you to borrow money from you, my first thing is, what's it for? What's it for? Because if I'm going to give you money, you better do it for what you're telling me you're doing it for. Because if I find out you're doing it for something else, there's hell to pay. Um, it's kind of like gambling. When you go to a casino and you're gambling, or you're going to a poker game and you're playing high stakes, and you put all that money down, putting all that money down, and you ain't got the line of credit to pay those guys back. They're gonna want their money. And so with me, I'm a little bit different with that. Now, being nice can be good, and also can be bad. The ones who are too nice, I'm talking about the real too nice guys. I'm talking about the ones that are just like, you know, those are the guys who I feel like haven't been hurt yet. These are the guys who haven't been fucked over. These are the guys who haven't had a chance to feel what it really feels like to get screwed over, not just by friends, but by family too. And I feel like I'm a nice guy, but yeah, I can be an asshole too. And I have both traits in me. I mean, but I always respect. My dad's always told me to have respect for women, and I do. Um, Even if that woman's in the wrong, I try to have respect for it. Um, because my dad used to always tell me, you don't know where that other person's been from. You don't know what their story is. So you can't judge that book unless you read the pages. I've always said that about anything. You can't judge a book by its cover unless you read a few of the chapters. You can't just sit there and be like, "Ooh, cool cover. Ooh, cool introduction," and don't read it again, because then you're setting yourself up for failure in that situation.
I'm saying like you shouldn't be kind, you shouldn't be nice because like you hear things about how the world is a doggy dog world and anyways, so you hear about how we live in a doggy dog world, we live in a cutthroat society. And one thing I learned as a salesman when I used to sell jobs, well, I still do time to time. One thing I learned is that you have to be like nice, but a little bit kind of assertive too, if that makes sense. You got to close deals and sell. Your job is sell, sell, sell. So you got to be kind of firm a little bit, but you got to be really, really nice. And that works when you're buddying up and kissing someone's ass to get a paycheck, and that's fine. But I noticed that there's a big difference when you're working for a paycheck or when you're working by the hour or under the clock where you're kind of a little bit, your behavior has to be a little bit more monotone versus like if you go out in a dating world or like if you're making new friends, like especially like making new friends, you're in the dating world. Like I noticed that being nice is most of the time works against you. But in the work field, being kind can have its advantages. Does that make sense? Now, obviously, you're going to say, well, Mr. Rose, like, to be a manager, you got to be an asshole and stuff like that. And that is true to a degree. That is true. For managers, you have to be an asshole. I hate to say this, but you get more respect as a manager not being liked than being liked. And I know it sounds weird, but I've seen managers try to do the opposite route where they want to be your friend and shit. And that's where like a lot of the employees like don't take him or her seriously. They try to like run them over. So I always say, like I kind of, you have more respect for your dickhead bosses, even though like you might think they're an asshole. Like, man, that guy's a fucking asshole. But then when you kind of respect them because you're like,
All right. So the boss thing. The boss thing. The thing about that situation is I've been through it all. Um, worked the warehouse, done security for, 15, 17 plus years. Um, where Steven works at currently now is Walmart. I've done Walmart too. I know how brutal that place can be. uh, um, Especially when you have like 6, 7, 8, or 9 different managers you have to answer to. You got a CSM, then a DSM. You have the area manager, then the regional manager, then the assistant manager, then the assistant manager to the assistant manager, and then the store manager, and then there's like, yeah. I mean, I still remember the horror that I went through. Man, and I hope it's better working there at Walmart now. But when I did, holy shit! It's like they don't really train you. You know, they don't really train you. What they do is that they'll sit there and you'll be working one spot, and then they'll ask you to go do other spots that you're not qualified for, that you're not trained for. Ah, team lead. Okay. Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. When I worked there for about 5 or 6 years, yeah. See what I'm saying? When I worked there for 5 or 6 years, I had to. I was working in the garden center at the time. I'd be out there working on 100-pound whiskey barrels, building grills and building patios and setting up people's cars and vans with mulch and lifting all this heavy shit. And then halfway through, they would ask me, "Hey, can you come back there and help us unload the trucks too?" It was like, it's they do throw you into the fire, very much so. Now, I had a boss once who I worked for security wise. The guy was a great guy. He was one of those guys who's nice. He was nice. And one thing I loved about him, well, I did work in the gardens here. Oh shit. Oh man, things haven't changed. Okay. Well, when I worked in security, there was this guy who he would buy us lunch or dinner. Like if he worked the night shift, he would be like, "Hey, you can get any drinks like Coke or tea or water for free. You can get any food for free that you want. Um, doesn't have to come out of your pocket." But but then he would have like these parties. Like if we did a good job, he would have a party at the office for everybody. Um, he would have like Secret Santa stuff for Christmas. You know, he would do a lot of fun things. You know, and that's something. You know, if you're a good boss, you don't necessarily have to be nice. You don't necessarily have to be an asshole to be respected. I believe that if you're a boss who, and this is what it would be if someone worked for me, if I owned a company and someone worked for me, I want to make it so much fun for you that you would want to keep coming to work every single day. Now, will I be firm? Will I stand my ground if you're doing something wrong? Absolutely. I would do that. But at the same time, though, I would also want to be that boss that you know that you can come to. And you don't have to worry about, well, if I come to him, he's going to fire me. Or if I do this, he's going to do this to me. I'm one of those guys who I would be the guy who would come in, you know, play music, let everybody be themselves. Um, I'd have it so upbeat and positivity that people would want to come to work. So if you make people happy to come to work, whether you're nice or an asshole or not. Now, I worked with asshole bosses who just, there was one guy at Walmart in particular who wasn't even a department manager. He was an assistant manager. But he chewed me out for really no reason in front of a lot of customers. And the customers shook their heads. Like they were asking, some of them asked me if I was okay because this guy was like, then come to find out the reason why he chewed me out is because when he goes home, his wife wore the pants in the relationship. So he's taking it out on someone at work because he could. Um, I've had good bosses. Hell, I've had two gay bosses before. When I worked at the this big costume shop in Nashville, I was working there in the haunted season. You know, we would work. I was working in the Halloween season, and okay, yeah, that's pretty much the same title then. But yeah, we would work at this our two gay bosses, man. They would have lunch already there for us. Um, you wouldn't have to do anything. You had like it was amazing working for these two gay guys. You know, during the pandemic, they retired and the company got sold to a real liberal kind of person, and that person decided to take it down. Why I don't know. Wish I would have thought about it and bought into it because I had the money at the time, and I wish I would have bought the damn company because I could have. Yes. No, it wasn't my first month. It wasn't my first month. I worked for another Walmart thing when I was younger, and then I came with this other Walmart company. And the Walmart place that I was at was like about 20 minutes away from where we live. And about maybe 3 months, maybe 2 months into my tenure there, they were asking me to come in to work for extra hours and that they were short staffed in the paint department. And all they told me I had to do was just ask people if they need any help. And then this one manager thought that I knew how to do the paint stuff. I'm like, do I look like a fucking painter to you? That's what I was thinking to myself. I said, dude, I've never been trained to do this paint stuff. Um, so I started turning that down because I didn't want to do that. Now I missed a few days because I got really sick, but there was a guy who what's up? And there was a guy who apparently started working in the garden center too. He looked apparently they thought he looked like me. I'm like, how the fuck can you get that guy looking like me? I don't know, but that guy was missing a ton of work, and they started blaming me. They started blaming me, and I'm like, look at your charts. I've only missed a few days. This mofo's missed like weeks of work. But they started thinking I was him. I don't know how. They started thinking I was him. They started putting me, see now, you could put me on the register. I was fine. I can easily do that. You could put me on the truck. I've done that because I work for FedEx and UPS. So those things didn't bother me. But when you put me in a situation where everything's backed up and people are looking at me like, you don't know how to do this paint mixer? Like, oh, really? Like, oh. I'm like, no, no. So I mean, fuck that. I'm gonna leave. So I decided to take that chance. I decided to leave. I was already doing my security job at the time too, so I really didn't necessarily need a Walmart job. I was just doing it for two different kind of income. But after that, I just kind of fucking left. I was like, fuck this. I don't need it. I mean, if they're gonna accuse me of being that guy that's getting that way, fuck that. Funny that you mentioned that, Steven. There was this guy who I worked with in the garden center. He would go on those 15-minute breaks, right? Be gone for 30 minutes. And those lunch hours he would take, that motherfucker be gone for almost an hour and 30 minutes to 2 hours, and nobody said a word. Nobody said a word. I come one time on a 15-minute break late because I wasn't feeling well in my stomach. And I come out of the bathroom and they're like, well, you're a little late. I'm like, oh yeah, oh, no shit. I mean, it's the same thing with that. So, sat in this car for 5 hours. That's fucking funny. Yeah, and they never say about, it's funny. If you're a hardworking person at your job, no matter what kind of job you do, you're a hardworking person, you never get the credit that you deserve. It's never like that at all. It's always they always give the job to a person like it's like if you're going to a job interview, you're qualified to work there. But because you're in your upper 30s and your 40s, they think that you're going to want more money. And nowadays, businesses are like, hmm, you know, they what it is now is like it's a young man woman world because they think who and it's like that at Mel's job right now. Mel's been there for like 4 to 5 years right now. And they stopped giving bonuses and they stopped giving pay raises because of the pandemic. Well, now they're finally starting to bring that back next month. But there was people who are younger than her that are getting paid more than she is for lesser hours, but they're still getting paid. See, that's what they're doing. They're paying these young kids, these young adults. They're giving them the more money, but they're not giving them the hours that they're supposed to. Once I was at a play, it was very loud. They pay you for what you do and only got paid for like for just being there for a few while. It depends on the Walmart there, Leon. Honestly, it does. It really depends on the Walmart. Uh, they are. I've heard stories too from other people, so I don't know. Where I never experienced that per se, but from what I gather, it's the same way. Well, see, that's the thing, too, Stephen. Um, Companies are smart now because they know if someone like you or me are coming in for a job, they're going to be like, "Wow, this guy's going to want 15 or 20 an hour, and he's going to want hours. We can't give him that, but we can give that one person there $15 an hour for 10 hour a week." And what's funny about that is when they hire the person instead of you, you find out later on that that position needs to be filled again because that person ended up quitting. The managers there have very poor. A lot of managers at job places now have very poor judgment on the person that they're interviewing because most people do one thing and they do one thing great. They lie. They lie their asses off so much. Presentation is everything. So they lie their asses off. And when they lie their asses off, they get the job, even though you're the one that's more qualified for that job and got more experience at it. Then you have those people who are like, well, I can't hire you because you don't have any experience. Well, how am I supposed to have experience in this if you don't hire me as well? You know, that's how it is. Yeah. And and it's kind of like that now. It's like you got different kind of bosses, they're different kind of interviewers. You got the ones who are like, you got one company, they're like, I'm not going to hire you because you have no experience. Well, how? Well, how do you do, motherfucker? How am I supposed to get the experience that you're asking me to have if you do not give me a chance? The problem is the companies nowadays don't want to train you. They used to do that. They used to do paid training and everything else. But now they're so fucking greedy with their money, they don't want to do that. Let me go back to this video.
Okay, you understand that their job is very difficult and that they have like an overhead and they got a lot of people they're overseeing, whether it's a group of 20, a group of 40, a group of 60, a group of 70 people. Like they have a responsibility to like to give out orders and stuff. And sometimes people won't listen to you unless like you really get on their case. So like you have to kind of be an asshole to a degree if you're a manager. And that's why like when a lot of these idiots are running around talking about, oh well, this bullshit that these managers are dickheads. I'm like, well, that's then if they're being a dickhead, then they're doing their job because that's what they have to be. They have to be a fucking asshole because you're not going to take them seriously otherwise. You can't like be overly too nice to your employees. So in that respect, in that hindsight, I kind of understand why managers are dickheads because they have to put their foot down and assert some sort of like authority. And you have to, you're not like cursing people out saying, hey, fuck you, I hope you die, but you're just like, hey, I need this work done, you need to get it done, and I gave you something to do, I gave you an assignment, it needs to be done, and I need this project done or this done or this done. You can't sit there and say, oh, could you please do this like when you have a chance to go, because they're not gonna take you seriously. So you're like, man, I gotta like raise my voice a little bit to get some fucking authority around here. I mean, what's the whole point of being a manager if no one takes you seriously? So I understand to a degree why managers are the way they are. I understand why owners are assholes too. So I sort of come to a better understand as I get older why things are the way they are. When I was younger, I was always like, why couldn't everybody just be nice and hold hands and sing kumbaya and form a circle? Then I got older and I realized, you know what, that's life. That's life. And I hate when people say, well, I don't want to work because Steven, the reason why I don't want to work is because, people are assholes and customers are assholes and stuff. And I'm like, okay, get over it. Like, that's life. Like, no one has to be nice to you. No one has to be nice to me. It would be nice.
Okay. They either hire 13 minutes a day with the bed. Okay, Steven, I have to disagree with you on that part. What you said on there. Um, the reason why, if you work in retail for so many years, like I have in the past, how Mel has, and how other people have, yes, you have to kind of treat the person nicely because they're the customer and da 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 da. But those people that come into these retail stores and trash shit and they treat the employees like crap and everything like that, those people are the ones who never worked retail in a day in their life. Period. And if they did, they wouldn't come into a store acting like that. They wouldn't act like a Karen and everything else that was handed to them on a silver platter. I mean, not to say anything bad about it, but some of them probably work office jobs and they probably work, as a doctor or a dental assistant or in the office, and they never worked a retail job. So then when they come in, they're basically expecting you to serve them. And I guarantee you the people who come in tearing up a store and taking clothes off the rack and just throwing them, I guarantee you if you go in their house, you will find all that shit on their floor. They are the same people. So when people claim that they don't want to work retail because of customers, you damn right they don't. I know you have to get over it because you want to have a job, you want to have stability and security and everything. But sometimes, even if you're getting paid really good, sometimes it's not worth it. The reason why people don't want to work now is because during the pandemic, not only was people getting those good little stimulus money, but there was people that were getting paid unemployment that was getting paid more on unemployment than they were at their own job. And then the virus is still out there, so everybody's a little still skeptic. You got some people who are still scared to go out there and work, and some states right now are still giving partial stimulus to people. What they're doing is they're giving them, if you have a kid or kids, they're giving you 500 for each kid. So if you're getting 500 for each kid, say if you have 4 kids, you don't have to work anymore. Yeah, I mean, it's that's the reason why. That's the reason why when you go to places now, like if you want to go get some food, for example, and you're going to like a drive-through and you want to get some food. Back then, you would be like, "Wow, it only took like 5 or 10 minutes." Now it takes like 20 to 30 minutes waiting in line because there's not enough people to fill those shifts. Yeah, Mel's family's from New Jersey. I heard about that they still pay them stimulus money and everything like that. So, I mean, now there's a new stimulus coming out now where most states are jumping in on it, talking about giving us $400 for gas. $400 for gas. Yeah. So it's you got those people who are like, oh, I got this $400 for gas, and then all that other shit. So yeah, it's kind of like that in some cases. So I mean, there's just some people out there that didn't want to do it during the COVID. So it's whatever. Let's see.
Nice if they were, but they don't have to. I'm not going to hold it. I'm not going to hold them to it, but don't expect me to return the favor. That's how I look at it. It's like, you want to be an asshole or whatever to me, that's fine. You can do that, and I'll still give you respect and courtesy back. But at the same time, I don't have to be your friend either. I don't have to care about you. So for example, why do you want? This is a stupid question that I get asked a lot by people. They say, "Why would you work for a company that can give two shits less about you?" And I'm like, I don't really give a damn if they don't care about me. Why do I care? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm there for a paycheck. I'm not there to be their fucking friends. Now, yeah, I'm friends with Marvin and Canoe and Marquise and Devin and a couple other guys that are really nice people. There are even some cool managers that are there. Don't get me wrong. They're really cool, and I take them very seriously, and they're really nice people. They're like cool people. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't think to double cross them or anything. And don't get me wrong. I'm glad that I'm friends with some people that I work with. But understand, I'm not there to make friends ultimately. Like, if they told me, would you sacrifice your pay to be friends with these people? Hell no, because I'm here to get paid. Why the fuck would I want to work for a company for free just to make friends? Like, fuck out of here. Like, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to go on YouTube and do that shit. Why the fuck would I do? Well, would I do that at work for working for free? Fuck that. That's the only last thing that keeps you on. Why the fuck? Why would I do that? And understandably, that would probably be, I would probably speak for everybody in the room. Like, why would you want to work for free to make friends? I'd rather work and make the money. The friendship can wait. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I'm all, when it comes to especially like dating, now this is the part where it gets tricky, and making friends, being nice is like 60-40, 60% good, 40% bad. Right. So you can make friends, and you may have some people that'll try to take advantage of you, stuff like that. That does happen. But I honestly feel like making friends is easy to me. Like, I always feel like making friends is easy. Now, there may be that one or two persons like, don't talk to me, I don't want to be friends. Okay, fine.
All right. So Steven was saying making friends is easy. Nope. Not a damn thing, bro. Nope. No. Making friends is not easy. That's why I have select friends. I don't trust a lot of people. I really don't. I do not trust a lot of people. And I have really rightfully reasons not to trust people. From my past to now, there's a lot of people on here. There's a lot of people I still do not trust. There's people in my life now I don't trust. Friendships can be easy to get into, but like anything, it's hard to maintain. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to maintain that kind of shit. Steven, you're cool. Me and you, we get along great. That's fine. There's a lot of people out there that are not like that. Yes, when you get older, your friends start to kind of shrivel up about like that. Once they go to about that small, you don't need that many people. Yeah, you don't need that many people. So that's kind of what it is. You don't really need that many fucking people in your life anymore, because it's like everybody's busy doing their own thing. People are working, people got their family, people got this, people got that. So it's the same thing, honestly. So, that's pretty much, a done thing with that. People are kind of like that now, in a sense, where they're just, what's the word I'm looking for? It was on the tip of my head for just a second. So, being 40 now, the friends thing is definitely, I'm very stingy and selective now on who I let in my life and who I don't let in my life now. It's a choice. Personally, it's a choice. I mean, we enjoy just having very select friends now. It's one of those things that is easier to maintain. When you have too many people in your friends list or too many people in your life, it's hard to maintain that shit. Like you're like, okay, there's this person, there's this person. Oh, that person's doing this. Oh, that person's doing that. You're like, how the fuck do I figure this out? But that's just how it is.
I feel like generally most people are open to the thought of friendship, right? Because there's no contract. You can walk out at any time you want. If y'all don't have an agreement with something, you can walk out, right? You're not tied contractually to anything. You're not signing anything. You know, you may have each other's numbers or Facebooks or whatever, but there's nothing contractually obligated. You see what I'm saying? You don't have to like force like your will on somebody, and they don't have to force that back on you necessarily. Now, if y'all don't have anything in common and y'all can't have a common ground, then yeah, y'all shouldn't be friends. But if for the most part, if you enjoy each other's company, it's priceless. And that's the excitement and the rush you get from just being around people that ultimately enjoy your company and you feel the same about them. So being nice by making friends, I feel for the most part, it's pretty easy, you know. Now, wind that. Now we go into the dating aspect. For some odd fucking reason, women and men, both of us, feel the need that we have to be mean and assertive to each other to get what we want.
Not really mean and assertive to get what you want. Honestly, it's more about before here. It's more about men are very good at figuring out if another guy is not on the up and up. Like, you know, men are good at figuring each other out. Like women are good at figuring each other out. Like if you had a woman friend and you know your lady's like, look, I don't da 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 da. At first you don't see it, but they see it. It's the same principle with the guy and the guy on there. So it's like, you know, they may not see it, but you see it. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like they do to an extent. Like, you know, most of them, it's in our DNA to do that, honestly, to compete with one another. It's been like that for generations, honestly, to a degree. So, yeah, to a degree, it's kind of like that. But, you know, sometimes men play off like they're really super good. You got some of those guys who play off like they are the Prince Charming of the world. But deep down inside, they are the biggest fucking assholes in the world. And they do it by lying. They lie to sucker the person in. And some people fall for it. It happens. I mean, even the best person in the world can make mistakes. You know, it is what it is. You know, people make mistakes all the time. Lord knows I made my fair share of them. So honestly, I just that's kind of roll with the punches on that.
And I get it. We're different, you know. We view things differently, but we have some like commonalities, you know, like one in companionship, one in relationship, stuff like that. But I noticed that being nice when it comes to dating is fucking bad. Now, does that mean I agree with that? No, absolutely not. But society tends to put that in a bad predicament, bad light. And I'm not saying being mean is always bad. There's nothing wrong with that, you know, for standing up for yourself and having standards and saying, this is what I want, this is what I'm expecting. And there's nothing wrong with that. Even if what you're expecting is unrealistic. I don't have a problem with that. Because that's your opinion anyway, right? And that's you're realistic. If you want a guy that's 8 feet tall, then that's your prerogative. I don't think you'll get a guy that's 8 feet tall, but if that's the guy you want, hey, all power to you, no foul. I'm not going to tell you what kind of guy you think you're deserving of. I'm not here to tell you who you can and cannot date. But I noticed for some really weird reason, being nice in the workplace has its benefits. Promotion, move up in the company, you meet the right people,
So you said that being nice helps you in the workforce. Yes and no. Um, I've seen people who have kissed their ass getting brown. You got brown nosers in every job that will come in there and get their stuff. They'll brown nose their way up to the top, and then you have the ones who are you know, they lie about who they are as a person, and then they'll cut you at the knees. I mean, like, you got people out there who will cut people at the knees to get what they want in the job and get their promotion. You got others who work their asses off and don't get anything, who are out there busting their ass and doing everybody else's job and theirs at the same time. So to be nice at a job, you don't necessarily have to be nice. I mean, as long as as long as your peers are cool with you and you're being cool with your peers, yeah, it makes your workforce a little easier. But say, for example, you're working with a bunch of lazy fucks, and those guys, and then you're pulling in all their weight. Makes it a little bit difficult to be nice. So I can't do all 2 hour video of what you did, Stephen. I'm just talking specifics on here. I just wanted to kind of reiterate what you were talking about on your video because I watched it and I was like, okay, let me just replay it. But put your comments down below. The people who did comment on here, thank you. Appreciate it. So I'm going to put Steven Rose's video in the description. So if you guys go over there to him, click that fucking sub button. Sub up to him. He's got some really good stuff on there. We got football season coming up. So, yeah, you know, he's got his Texans. He got my Titans. So we're going to be start doing some more sports football videos. I kind of miss doing those. Anyways, though, like, share, sub. And what would the Prodigal Hill say? Do the shit that YouTube does tell you to get over, right? But like I said, Steven, I would comment on the whole entire video, but it's like 2.5 hours long, and I ain't got time to do I can't do 2-3 hours on it. But I will say to this point to anybody on there, if you've worked retail or anything fast paced, or if you've it can be fast paced like in a warehouse. It can be fast paced at a restaurant. It can be fast paced at a store, no matter what. At the same time, it's the same way. Treat others how you want to be treated. And I'm Kev. It's Big Kev's World. I'm out.